Hello and welcome back to Suspended Animation. I am your host, Dennis Betholkis, and this is The Tick, Season 2, Episode 1, Lesson 1. Think quick! There we go. So, yes, we're back again with another live action Tick episode. Oh, yeah. And I couldn't be happier, quite honestly, because I really dig this incarnation. I dig all the incarnations of the Tick, honestly. So, and of course, I've got a little buddy that's over here. And if you see over this way, like right here, actually two little buddies, if you will. So there you go. So, Viking bitch, you may want to, yeah, I'm just gonna say, yeah, you might want to watch how you phrase that one. Although, each their own. So that's all I'm going to say. So before we start here, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you haven't seen the episode, go and watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon, Prime, you can watch it, of course, for free. And you can come on back here later and comment down below in the comment section. This will be a video. So there we go. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. And she likes Tick. So she loves her some Tick. Mork says, like dropped. Have a good night, everybody. I'll catch up later. See you, Morks. Thanks for the like. Get some sleep. Mufunobi says, I like Patrick Warburton, but this incarnation is better. This actor brings a good, serious, funny tone. Yeah, Warburton's Tick was a little more confused. And I don't know. There was something kind of more. He was more stonerish, I guess you could say, than this version. This version is kind of in between Warburton's and the cartoon. So he's using. You could tell he talked to Coleman Townsend, who did the voice for the animated Tick, as well as Ben Edlund, because Ben Edlund created the Tick. He's been involved with all these different versions of the Tick, and there really is no bad version of this. Both live action shows have been really damn good. The cartoon was excellent. I mean, just awesome. I wish Fox would fucking release that thing as one big box set. Well, Disney now. Since Disney owns it, oh my God. Disney owns the Tick now, the animated Tick. Hopefully they can release that damn thing. Set it free. And the cartoon, the comic was also as well. Just great stuff. Viking Bitch says this Tick has a genuine goodness and Boy Scout quality of the original. Yeah, exactly. The nativity, if you will. I can't even pronounce it. He's very naive, but that's what's kind of nice about it. Yeah, the Tick lives in a multiverse, exactly. So there we go. So we start off where it's the next day from where we left off in season 1, and Arthur's sleeping. He's dreaming of his dad, watching his dad die when he's a kid, and then from the ashes he comes up in his little moth suit, pops the wings, and starts flying. And he's flying around, the giant guy, excuse me, and all that. And that's when his alarm starts sounding off, which is a nice little homage to the cartoon. The very beginning of the cartoon always started with Arthur's alarm clock going off at 6:30 and him hitting the alarm, of course, and then getting up and having the music. Yeah, it was kind of a nice little touch there, Viking Bitch, him shedding to explain the new costume. I'll get to that in a second, too. So we have the Tick in the kitchen, and he's standing facing the window, and he's got the sunlight streaming in, so you pretty much see his silhouette. And he's talking to Arthur about embracing his destiny to become a superhero, and that he has to follow the hero's way. And the Tick's going on, and Arthur goes, Tick, you're right. And the Tick turns around, he's all excited. He goes, what? Really? And he's jumping up and down with joy, and he's jumping up so hard, up and down so much that it's actually shaking the apartment, which I loved. Hey, Ricardo Aspie. Arthur all of a sudden notices this big piece of blue stuff sitting on the floor. He goes, "What's this?" He goes, "Oh, you found another one. It's been happening to me, I don't know, it's been happening lately." And we see the tick go into the bathroom and he flushes it down the toilet. And we also notice that the tick has a new costume, and Arthur does as well. Arthur's like, "Wait a minute, you look a little different. Have you changed?" And so this is kind of a running joke. Every time he changes costumes, they upgrade the costume, if you will. They are going to have him molt. So from episode 1 to 2, they actually upgraded the suit, and they had a little bit of a play there on that one. And now we have from season 1 to season 2, we have a really nice upgrade on the suit. I'm really digging the new suit. The new suit is very, very superhero-ish and awesome stuff. So yeah, he's molting and getting a new suit in return. So the tick really wants to train Arthur and hone his reflexes. And I love that he says, "Think quick," and Arthur's like, "What?" And he just kind of flicks him a little bit, and Arthur goes flying out into the living room, sliding across the floor. So yeah, so we actually hear we see this guy driving a security guard driving a little golf cart, and he's got the radio on, and he's hearing that Superion is delivering the terror to the world court. Terror is frozen, and he's delivering the terror to the world court in Geneva, out in Switzerland. And they say the hunt is on for all the terror's accomplices, of course. And we see right behind the security guard, we see the escape pod that Miss Lent was in, damaged and coming in, and comes and crashes down right next to the security guard. And she pops out, and he tries to taser her, and he hits her with the tasers, and it's going off, and she's like, "Here, let me help you with that." And she shocks him, takes him down. She goes, "And I'm taking your go-kart." And she gets in his go-kart and takes off, which I thought was kind of funny. I really do like Miss Lent. Yara Martinez does a great job. She's actually a really cool actress. She does a great job. So Dot, in the meantime, is also listening to the radio. She's listening to the same broadcast, and she's brushing her teeth, and she's kind of pissed. And she goes, "Yeah, next thing you know, they're going to want to defrost him or thaw him out." And she hears on the radio, "And there's a petition going around about thawing out the terrorists." She's like, "God damn it." She's all pissed off. And then we see Tinfoil Kevin outside of the Tick and Arthur's apartment, and he's picking up stray radio signals with his ears, his antennas, if you will. And he looks up and sees a drone overhead, and he's like, "What the?" And the drone kind of flies down a little bit, looks at him, and then flies up and flies away. So yeah. In the meantime, Arthur is trying to get ready for work because he's going to go back to work as an accountant because he needs money. And the Tick has made coffee and pours Arthur a cup of coffee. And he's not really understanding the concept of money. And he's wondering why Arthur is dressed up in this getup again. And, Arthur's telling him, I'm going to work. We need money. And so Arthur tries to explain. He goes, "You like coffee, right?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I like coffee." And he's drinking it straight out of the pot. And he goes, "Well, we need money to pay for coffee. We also need money to pay for rent. That's why I need to do the day job." And Tick's like, "Well, no coffee then. And we can sleep under the stars." He's just really kind of gung-ho into it. He really wants to go full bore with the superhero thing. And Arthur, of course, is trying to be a little bit more practical about this. In the meantime, Arthur turns around and bumps into Overkill, who's also in his apartment now because he snuck in. And Arthur's like, "What the hell are you here for?" And Overkill is there because the Tick saved Overkill's life and demanded in return that Overkill not kill anybody anymore. So he wants to be able to kill again, and it's driving him nuts that he can't kill anybody. So this is what he wants to do. In the meantime, Arthur's phone rings. I mean, this is all going on in the apartment all at once. And Dangerboat's calling Arthur to try and warn him about Overkill coming over. But Overkill's already there. And so since he's already there, Dangerboat figures, "Do you like The Princess Bride?" He goes, "Why don't you come on over? Why don't you pick a night? We'll pick a, come on over and we'll watch The Princess Bride." And of course, he's trying to make a movie date with Arthur, and yeah, that apartment is just destroyed as well. Um, and this is all happening while the Tick and Overkill are debating about what benefits he gets from getting to kill people again, and it's a roundabout argument. And then, of course, the Tick tries to hug Overkill, and then he wants to have a hug fight. In the meantime, Arthur's mom calls in, and so of course he gets rid of Danger Boat that way. And mom wants him to come over for a family dinner, and she's invited Dot as well, but Dot's not picking up her phone, of course, as usual. And yeah, she basically doesn't want any secrets to be in the family. She says, "Oh, you know what? You're a superhero now, and it's a strange way to find out with you flying through the city." She goes, "I don't want any secrets anymore." And she says that we see Walter's face as he looks up, and he gets a strange look on his face because Walter, we saw in season one, has something weird going on. We don't know exactly what it is. Yeah. And he's like, all right, we'll come over at, 8, we'll come over at 7. And of course, Tick goes, "Nope, that's when we're doing patrol." It goes, "Okay, we'll come over at 8. Make it 8:30." So they're going to be over there for dinner. And he goes, "Okay, I really got to go. I got to go to work." So he gets outside and he sees Tinfoil Kevin outside looking up at the sky with binoculars. And Kevin tells him that he's seen surveillance drones watching him, and they're watching everybody. And yeah, it's and Arthur's like, "Yeah, I think we're okay," is what he tells them. And he goes, "I got to go to work anyway." He takes off. So he ends up at Fish Ladder and Sons, which, if you remember from the first season, was destroyed by Overkill, trying to take out the Tick, and yeah, just basically destroying that whole place. With the Tick just really being kind of passive about it and just kind of pushing him, but destroying the place nonetheless. So they have everything put back together again. And I jumped ahead a little bit. So we have Dot in the meantime in line at the coffee shop, and she's still listening to the news about what's going on with the terror and all this stuff. And she ends up seeing this guy. This guy has 2 cups of coffee in his hand. He turns, trips over a bag that someone has put on the ground, and his coffee goes spilling onto a little dog and a little girl, burning them severely. We hear them scream in pain. And then we flash back, and it's right before the guy starts to walk, and we see Dot there. And she turns and slaps the coffee out of the guy's hand, knocking it to the ground. And he's like, "What the hell?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And so she buys him coffee and some scones to, make up for it again and all that kind of stuff. But kind of a weird thing that's going on there. Yeah, no killing, no hugging. Exactly. So we see Arthur. He gets a visit from the owner of Fish Ladder and Sons, and Arthur has his briefcase. He's brought the suit with him, and it's in the briefcase. And Fish Ladder is basically telling him, he goes, "Any news that you want to tell us? About what's going on with you? Anything big that's happened?" And he's trying to let him, say that he's a superhero. And Fish Ladder goes, "If I look in this case, is anything, am I going to find a bunny suit?" And Arthur's like, "No, no, no, no. You're not going to find a bunny suit." He's like, "Oh, okay. It's a moth suit." And Fish Ladder says, "You know what? We're just not insured for superhero things. So you either need to be an accountant or a superhero. You have to decide." And so Arthur quits his job. And we see him taking his whole, little box full of stuff outside, and he's trying to get through the door with it. And he finally, like, screw it. He just tosses the box aside, goes up to the roof, takes off his clothes, puts on the moth outfit, and flies away. Yeah. So in the meantime, Dot is over at Arthur's place and talking to Tick, and Tick still has his big pot of coffee there, and he asks Dot if she wants some, pours it into her cup, and then starts drinking from the pot again. And just before she's about to drink, she's like, "No, that's okay," because yeah, that's what he's been drinking all this time at this point. And Dot has called in sick to work. Of course, she's not really sick. Of course, she's just called in sick to work because of everything that's happened, and wants to talk to Arthur about what's happened. And Suddenly, Arthur comes flying into the window, smashes into the window there. And Tick, of course, is happy that Arthur is home early because he was going to come home at 6 so they can go on patrol. And Arthur breaks the news and says, I've quit my job, because Fish Ladder basically gave me the ultimatum because I quit my job. So Tick's ecstatic at this point. He's like, great, we can go on patrol. And so he goes and Arthur's like, you know what? I just flew across the city. Let me get hydrated first, and then we'll go out and patrol. And so Tick's like, great, I'll go and wait for you downstairs. Takes off. And Dot, in the meantime, wants to tell Arthur about what happened in the coffee shop. But he gets a call from the Tick down below. And of course, he says, Tinfoil Kevin says, daylight is burning. We need to, we're burning daylight. So he has to go and get going there. Yeah. So in the meantime, Dot comes back to her place, and she's got some beers with her. And who does she run into but Overkill? Overkill is hiding in the ceiling, the corner of her ceiling. And he's a drunk Overkill at this point, too. And he says, she startled me. So, yeah, it is a little time for day drinking. Exactly. There's never a bad time for day drinking. So, yeah, and he falls from the ceiling onto his bottle of whiskey, I guess, that he's got down there. So we see Arthur and the Tick. They're done with patrol, and Arthur, of course, has his last paycheck and says, they're at the bank, and he says they need, as the Tick calls it, paper. That's what he's been calling money, is paper. We need this paper to last us a little while because it's going to be our last paper for a while. And as they're in the bank there, these masked guys we see are coming out of a car outside and splashing through some water. And we see some more guys inside the bathroom, and we see this giant thing come up out of the bathroom. And Arthur goes up to the counter, and the woman behind the counter goes, oh, you're Arthur and the Tick. It's like, yeah. And she reads his last name and everything, and she's flirting with him. And Arthur's kind of really not grasping that at this point. Arthur is fairly emotionally stunted, as well as not societal stunted as well. I think with everything that's happened, plus him being in mental institutions for a good majority of his life, there's a few things that aren't really clicking with him. Like when a woman is hitting on him and just basically giving him all these social cues, and yeah, he is not following that at all. But and neither is a Tick, of course. So I'm still running with the theory that the Tick has sprung from Arthur's mind in some way, in some point, in some way. That is Arthur's superpower, is what I'm thinking, is that he has brought the Tick into being. So in the meantime, the masked guys come in and say they're robbing the bank. And they have this giant thing that's come out of the sewer, if you will, and it's wrapped in black. It just looks like big muscular thing with goggles on. And it's ripping the door off the bank vault. And the Tick, of course, says, he goes, you're facing the Tick. And they pop some smoke grenades, pop them down there. And the Tick goes in there to go and take care of the big thing that's ripping off the door to the vault. And of course, he tells Arthur to, think quick. And Arthur ducks as the vault goes flying, right where he was standing there at first. And then, of course, the Tick fights it a bit, and he's getting, knocked around. And Arthur tries to take out one of the henchmen. He gets knocked down. The henchmen take off, and the Tick gets thrown to the side, but he's got some of the black covering of this thing in his hands. He goes, what is it? He goes, I don't know, but I'm unwrapping it little by little. And we see this thing come out of the smoke, and it's a giant lobster on 2 legs with claws. And it squeals, and we see these arms come out of its abdomen and everything. And everyone screams, and it throws the Tick one more time and then makes a beeline back to the bathroom and into the sewer. And the Tick follows him and jumps down there and goes, come on, Arthur, it's getting away. So Arthur climbs down and goes to help him, of course. In the meantime, Overkill and Dot are drinking at her place, and she's telling him about what happened in the coffee shop. And Dot says, you know what, it was like I could see it happening, like it was precognition almost in a way, but not precognition. It was very weird. And she says she wants to go and fight something after what happened. And of course, Overkill says, "Yeah, the terror really rattled all of our cages, so you really kind of messed with us. We need to do something about it." And he tries to tell her about, the ticks took away his ability to kill as well. But he says, "I've locked it away. I've learned to lock that kind of hurt underneath a mental glacier under 1,000 pounds of mind ice." She goes, "Yeah, that sounds really healthy." So in the meantime, Arthur and Tick get home, and Arthur is exhausted and he's hungry. And when he says, "Yeah, I just want to get something to eat," and then he realizes, shit, I was supposed to be at Mom's for dinner. And we flash back to Mom and Walter sitting there, and of course, no one's shown up to the dinner. And he goes, "Well," Walter says, "that's the kids for you." And the mom goes, "Those little shits," is what she says. And we go back to Arthur and the Tick going back into Arthur's apartment, and there's a guy standing there. And of course, Tick stepped forward to confront him, and Arthur knows who this guy is. He is Agent Commander Ty Rathbone of Aegis, and Tyrannosaurus Rathbone, if you really want to get technical about his entire name. And he tells them that they're reinstating the Flag 5, and he wants them to come by in the morning to Aegis because they're reopening the chapter in the city there and try out for the team. And that's where we leave off with Arthur saying, "Tick, I think we've hit the big time. I think we've made it." And that's where we leave off for episode 1. Kind of a good recap. They did a recap of what happened without having to go through a whole recap, if you will. And yeah, it was interesting. A crab people? No. It's lobster, Ricardo Aspie. It's lobster. Yeah. So, and I can't say why I know it's a lobster, but yeah, Movie Finobi knows why, because he just said a name. Movie Finobi says, "The teller looks familiar in last season or in another show." I believe she was in, she's been in other shows. She's worked with Ben Edlund before on some stuff. Ben is very loyal with people that he works with. If he really likes you and you do a good job for him, and he will use you over and over and over again, not in a bad way, but a good way. And that's why Patrick Warburton still works with him. Barry Sonnenfeld still works with them. They are all executive producers of this show. They worked with them on the first Tick live action series. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the people from the original live action series have come back for this one as well, not just in executive producing roles, but also voice acting as well as acting as well. So that is showing you some loyalty about why. Yeah, it's pretty awesome that he is what I call the fixer. He would come in when shows were struggling and he would fix them. Angel, when he came in season 3, I believe is what it was, and fixed the hell out of that show. Yes, it got canceled, but that was a different story. That wasn't him. We had, because I believe he left after season 4. So he came in the beginning of season 3, left at the end of season 4, and then after season 5 they got canceled. So Supernatural, he came in and fixed Supernatural for a little while there. That was after season 5 he came in. There's a lot of shows he's come in on, and he's very, very awesome. So Movie Finobi says, "The Tick should put some tires on the lobster claws, like a little rubber band, like giant rubber bands." Yeah. Where are we? Movie Finobi says, "Arthur doesn't get many powers from his suit." No, he doesn't. Other than bulletproof, I think he's just bulletproof. That's pretty much it, and he can fly. Plus, he has some heads-up display stuff as well. So Viking Bitch says, "I love Danger Boat. Steve is a great cover name." What else do we have here? Overkill does whatever a spider can. Yeah. Time for some day drinking yet. Viking Bitch says, "The Tick is like a giant puppy when Arthur comes home." Yeah, he is. He's just so excited and just moving around. Yeah, Mufinobi, I can't talk about Dot at the moment because I'm only going episode by episode. I've seen the entire season already, so I can actually watch it again, kind of like what I do with Future Man. I am not going to move ahead on it. I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, who are going episode by episode, following along with me. So sorry, just won't do it. Why didn't she move the bag? Yeah, I know, Viking bitch. Why didn't she just move the bag? That's all Dot had to do, is just reach down and move the bag. But I don't think she was actually aware of what was going on, and didn't think it was real. So that could be the reason why she just didn't have the presence of mind. Yeah. How are your feet? What Walter always asks. Okay. Drinking contest between Nick Sachs and the Tick. You talking about coffee, Ricardo asked me, because the Tick won't drink alcohol. I can almost guarantee you on that one. Yeah, that was the other thing I forgot to mention, Viking bitch. Thanks for bringing that up. At one point, when Arthur and when Dot is in Arthur's apartment when he comes home, Arthur kind of flinches when the Tick extends his hand when he says, that he's quit his job, and he goes, "I have none of the lesson." And the Tick's like, no, grab my big blue mitt and shake it. And when he leaves, that's when Dot says, "Has the Tick been hitting you?" And he goes, "No, well, yeah, but only to hone my reflexes." There's a lot of really good lines in all of this. Very hot coffee. Mufinobi says, "Ooh, you binged the whole thing. Excellent. We only have 2 under our belt." Oh, yeah. I burned through that thing pretty quickly. So, yeah, the Tick is one of my favorites. Obviously, you can tell, like, sitting right over here. Yes, he's a little discolored. So this is one of the early versions of the giant talking Tick. And the early versions, for some reason, the plastic that they made his body out of discolored after a couple of years. So what the fuck is this show, crispy little crispy tenders? It is a superhero show. So, Kid Aron, I can't answer that question. You're going to have to watch the entire season to find out. Why? What are you talking about, Viking bitch? Why? What should I be careful with this finger? What are you talking about? 2 scones and 7 cups ago. Yeah, the Tick is. I mean, honestly, it's just pretty damn good stuff. I mean, you're talking figure. Oh, yes, it does. Get around. It does. Say spoon. Spoon. This is from the animated series. So it actually has Townsend Coleman's voice in there. So, Little Crispy Tenders, The Tick is awesome. It was a comic book. Then it was a cartoon. Then it became a live action series at one point, and then it went away for a little bit. Now it's a live action series again. So it started off as a comic book and was really damn good. So, yeah. Yeah, and I even have the Hellboy one over here too. So, because Hellboy comes out later on this week as well. So let me get rid of a little bit of business here. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button. If you don't like what you see, hit the dislike button. But I just asked, if you hit the dislike button, go down the comment section down below and tell me why. Give me some constructive criticism, not just "you suck, you asshole," blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. You've heard it all before. But yeah, just give me a little constructive criticism. Also, if you want to see when I'm going to be on live again, hit the little bell that's down below there. If you already hit it, don't hit it again, because I will unclick it. You won't get any notifications. You still have only a 50-50 chance of that getting you notified. And I believe if you open up the options on it, you can set it for how often it will notify you. So there you go. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what else. So if you want to see what my schedule is, well, my schedule is up on my website, suspendofanimation.com. You can also see it on Facebook, and I have an Instagram, and I also have a Twitter account as well. So there we go. If you're still on the fence about joining, you're going to see a video that's going to pop up in this section. This video is plucked from my video library based on everything that you've been watching on YouTube and it plucks the very best one for your taste and pops it in there. If you like what you see there, you're going to see a subscribe button up in this area, right over the tick's face here, and you can hit the subscribe button there as well. So, with that said, I want to thank everyone who joined me tonight in the chat here. Who do I have going on here? Joe Greer III, Kato Rome, Little Crispy Tenders, Movie Finobi, Ricardo Aspie, and Sculpted Leather Art by Vacuum Bitch. Thank you, everybody. Good episode. Like I said, I'm going to go episode by episode on this one again, kind of like I did with Future Man. And it's on Amazon Prime. So again, if you guys have Amazon Prime, if you signed up for all of that, you get it for free. Well, it's part of your subscription process. There we go. So, hey, Pen Farm Girl. You just popped in there, huh? All right. So I'm going to let you guys go. Again, take a look at the video up here. Hit the subscribe button. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get attacked by a giant lobster that's covered over in some black garbage bags. Talk to you later, everyone. Good night.